West Ham United take the trip up to Villa Park in the hope that we can get off the mark in the Premier League this season. 3 games, 0 goals, 0 points on the board. This is a must-win for West Ham United. In terms of Aston Villa, they're not too good as well. Question marks over Steven Gerrard. They're not playing well, but at least they're off the mark, hey? Welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. I hope you are all well. We're here for the unofficial preview of Aston Villa versus West Ham United. Another Sunday kickoff, although next week's game against Chelsea has been moved to a Saturday. Good for Sky to give us a bit of notice there, isn't it? Hope you are all well. Before we get into it, drop a like on the video, subscribe to West Ham Unofficial if you are new. Check out our channel sponsors, SRM Carver and Son, by clicking the link in the description down below. Firstly, let's say hello to our guests. Phil, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. Ready now. Going to relax this evening after a long hard day at work. But be good to look forward for a game tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully we can start playing well in the Premier League. And we're also joined by Aston Villa fan Paul. Paul, how are you?
I'm very well, Jake. Yeah, thank you for having me. All good.
Good. Before we get into it, let's head into the comments and see who we've got tonight. Drop a like and subscribe, as I said. Usual suspect, hope you are well. Lawrence as well. Josh, hope you are, mate. And Hammerhead is in as well. Get your thoughts in about this game. Obviously, Phil, we'll start with you. It's a 6-pointer for both sides, really, isn't it? Because Villa haven't got off to the best of starts. We've got off to the worst possible start. What does this hold, do you think?
Well, like you said there, Jake, massive 6-pointer. Obviously, we're still yet to get off the mark with goals as well as points. Villa have had a very poor start, and it's not looking good really for Villa as well as us. So it'd be really important that we get a massive result, hopefully tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, to be fair, I say this, Bournemouth have got 3 more points than us, but at least we don't have a minus 14 goal difference after 4 games of the season.
Well, especially after today.
Well, exactly. Very nearly double figures for Liverpool at Anfield today. But Paul, how have you rated the start of Aston Villa season? What do you think's gone wrong so far?
Well, let's say I don't really know whether it's tactical from Gerrard. I don't really know whether he's got the tactics right. I think the bubble burst quite quickly, didn't it? Let's face it. He came in last season. The players played for him. It was that kind of new manager feeling, if you like, and we went on a bit of a roll. But towards the end of the season, I think it was going as they were really. And it's not surprising that they've made a poor start to the season. I mean, we beat Everton, but then again, who doesn't? On away in the week, I suppose, at Bolton, which was quite good to get that sort of confidence back up. So it's going to be a tough game. I've just got our centre backs are shaky, and I think that's where you can exploit us.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because I think overall at the start of the season, I think what Gerrard did is he took the captaincy off Mings, and to me that starts the season off on the wrong foot. Whether it was the right decision or not, you've taken the captaincy away from a centre back that's played for England. Do you think that has kind of upset the apple cart, as it were, towards the start of the season, given the captaincy to John McGinn?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to have an impact, isn't it? It's got to have an impact, but without knowing what goes on in the dressing room behind the scenes, they might be both real good leaders. That's what we hear. Mings has come out on his social media and said, it's not a big deal. It's still a privilege to play for this club. But so I think they're saying all the right things. But yeah. It's going to have an impact. It must have an impact. Not sure McGinn is the right person to captain the side, personally.
Do you think Ming should be the captain then?
Yeah, I do, actually. I think ever since he was given the captaincy, he's always sort of dragged us along. Do you know what I mean? He's always been that sort of leader. He's very vocal. He's a big guy, big personality. Like you say, he plays for England. I know McGinn plays for Scotland, but Scotland, is it?
It is. before we come back to you, Phil, let's just see who else we've got. Luke, hope you are well, mate. We need a 9-0 tomorrow. I'll tell you what, the way we're playing. Yeah, the way we're playing, we haven't scored 1 in 3, so I don't think we're going to score 9 in 1.
That's all right, overdue.
Yeah. Luke says, not looking forward to tomorrow. 2 very nervous sides. Yeah, I agree. Maddie, hi everyone. If we lose tomorrow, will Paqueta change his mind? I think it'll be too late. We'll talk about that slightly in a second. The first goal is huge tomorrow because from what I've heard, is that if we do score first, then there will be some frustrations inside Villa Park. That's exactly what we want. It's not going right, going 1-0 down at home. I think that's what we've got to do. Phil, we've got to get on the front foot early. We said this at the start of the season against a side like Man City, but it's just as key in a game like tomorrow where they're at home. There's a potential of a not very nice atmosphere if we lead. First 20 minutes is key.
Yeah, I mean, we said it at the start of every game, haven't we? So It's important to get off the front foot. It's not been the case so far, but with the way Villa have been, it is so important that we do, because we know for a fact we get that first goal in. We know, it's going to be a bit hostile in Villa Park and all the chants towards Gerrard and all that. So if we can, I will be joining in on that as well. If we can get off to the best possible start, if the right players are starting as well, get that first goal in early, and just keep the momentum going, just for at least the first half anyway, then it should be all right.
Yeah. Let's take some more comments. Luke says Mings is a good player, but does have brain fart in him. Yeah, he is that kind of player where he is good, but at times he can lapse, and I do think that there is always a mistake in him as well. You've got so many good attacking players there, and when you were bringing them in last year, Paul, just to name them, you've got Buendia there, Coutinho, Leon Bailey. Do you think you bought a lot of attractable names and they just haven't gelled together? Do you think that's the problem?
Well, Bailey was injured last season, wasn't he? And he made a real promising start, but he got injured quite early on, so I can't really judge him. He's looked really good pre-season, but I think sometimes he's a bit like a rabbit in the headlights. I think you put him on the biggest stage, and I don't think he necessarily performs very well. Buendia's brilliant, but I don't think he's given the right run by Gerrard. I think Gerrard, he starts the game, he plays really, really well, and then he's on the bench for the next game. And I don't understand that. I don't think we're a big enough club or big enough squad to have this, rotational system in place. So I mean, they should take time to gel. But to be fair, the spine of that team is exactly the same as it was last season. I mean, you look at the players he's brought in, and Bailey's Carlo in the back, you've got Camara who's come in as well, and it's not a massive different squad from last season. That I think that might be the problem.
Yeah, I mean, just from the outside looking in, Phil, in terms of Villa, they've got the players there, and it just seems like when they do click, they've got Ings, Watkins, and all those players I've just mentioned. They've got the potential to be very, very good. What do you think the issue is looking in?
Well, it's like you say, it's when you've got a team full of names, obviously on paper that looks good, especially like in the old days when you were playing like FIFA or something, you got like the highest rated players and it's going to go well. But the reality is, as good as you are, you've all got to gel together. And that's happened before with many other teams in the past in the Premier League, where you get a lot of names, but you need that togetherness. A bit like what we've had the last couple of years, really. Sometimes you don't have to be the most skillful player or everything. As long as you got good teamwork, good ethic, you can go far. Like many other teams have had that. So I think, obviously, I don't really know what sort of managerial style Gerrard has, but he'll have that influence as well. So sometimes the manager as well needs to make sure he's got the right team as well, because it's you can get rid of players very easily if they're not performing.
Yeah. Trev Tube, hope you are well. We are set to be the biggest spenders in the Premier League season. Now, that's a good note to start to talk a little bit about West Ham now. I mean, I think I speak for most West Ham fans when I say if me or you or any West Ham fan would have said that we would have been the biggest spenders in the Premier League this season at the start of the transfer window, we would have looked at you a little bit strange. But then again, if we said we're in the position that we currently are, well, not the 3 games that are lost, because that sounds like West Ham, but the last 2 years on a whole 2 years ago, you'd think you are crazy. But yeah, exactly. Relegation 6 points. Thank you very much for that, Sean. Don't worry. You know, you're up on your perch, but once you start playing a game every like 2 days, it'll hit you. Luke, I hope you're well. It's a shame Gallagher won't be suspended. Will be suspended when he signs. Yeah, only a 1-game ban, which means he'll miss the midweek game, not the game against us, which is a bit of a shame because their midfield's a bit fragile because we play them next week. But Gerrard under a bit of pressure, under a bit more pressure than Moyes at the moment. Do you nod in your head? Would you agree, Paul?
Yeah, I do. I think he is under. It's early. On the first 5 games of the season, like poor Dean Smith, you know, five games and 5 defeats out the door. You know, hopefully a bit longer than that. But I think jury's out with Gerrard for most Villa fans, to be honest. I mean, he hasn't managed in the Premier League, so yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we certainly will. Miss Hammerette says, bit apprehensive about tomorrow, but hopefully with a shift in the starting 11 will smash him. Yeah, Gerrard under a bit of pressure. Yeah, that's a comment that we read. Here we go. Here he comes. Look, Rice sold on deadline day to balance the books. Yeah, just keep going. Just keep going. I would still take Gallagher. I think most of us would, to be honest. 100% Paqueta, Rice and Gallagher. That is a mouthwater in midfield.
Yeah,
that would be superb. You're dreaming there, though, Luke. You are dreaming. In terms of West Ham, though, Phil, of course, I'll come to you first. Changes are made from the Premier League starting 11. I mean, I could name them what I want to see here. I want to see Emerson. I want to see Skamaka, Cornet. I want to see a change in midfield. I want to see a change in ways from West Ham in the Premier League.
Yeah, we definitely need it. I mean, look, they've got to be ready now. I mean, if Skamaka and Cornet, they're right starting in midweek, then there's no problem them starting this game. You know, let's have it right. Kehrer came in straight away, didn't he? So we get them starting. Emerson left back as well. Get a bit more power and pace in the left back position. It'd be very exciting and see how well they all play together. Midfield as well could do with a little bit of a freshen up.
Yeah,
I don't know if Moyes does do that. I don't know what he will do, but if we can get these new players starting, then it's not going to be predictable West Ham team, if you know what I mean.
we need it to change. We definitely do. Paul, overall, from kind of looking in from what's gone on at West Ham in the last few weeks, does that give you any more confidence going into the game or not?
No, not really, because anybody can be at any given time, can't they? Really, I think I don't see anybody running away with it as they have done, you know, in the past. Obviously, with West Ham's poor start to the season, a little more confidence, but we're Villa, aren't we? It depends who shows up on the day. That's kind of like what it all boils down to, really. A packed Villa Park, it's going to be an intimidating atmosphere. It's going to be a game. It's always a good game between our two sides. A bit fiery.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. EP, hope you are. I'm feeling confident for some reason. Just got a feeling, as we always do, well, against Villa. 3-1 to the Hammers. Come on, you Irons. Yeah, hopefully some sort of repeat of what happened at Villa Park last year. I don't think we're going to win 4-1 by any stretch of the imagination, but just a 3 points will do. Luke says, did you see Villa want Big Dawson? Yeah, we mentioned that earlier. We cannot sell. It's like taking one step forward to take another step back, you know, because if we... just don't sell him. Just don't sell him. One player that you think has to start that hasn't been starting in the Premier League in recent weeks, Phil?
No, Skamaka's got to be starting, isn't he?
Yeah.
You need that. new target man, so they don't. He's still, no one really knows too much about him outside of West Ham. So obviously, in past where everyone was all putting 2 or 3 men on Antonio because they know how he's going to play, whereas Skamaka, he's new to the league, and he's going to cause problems if he starts, and he'll be raring to go as well. So as long as he starts, it's brilliant, because then we know what his track record is before with long range goals. So you never know.
Yeah, and I think it's a good game to bring him in as well against a vulnerable Villa defence. And I'm sure you'll vouch for this as well, Paul. Is that Antonio's good, and yes, but let's put a natural striker up there, and let's see what the physicality is like of these Villa centre backs. Do you think Antonio could be more of a pass than a more overall better striker than Scamacca we brought in, Paul? Do you think that could impact your centre backs and perhaps they could crumble?
Yeah, possibly. Although I do like Chambers. I think Chambers is going to start instead of Carlos tomorrow because he's injured. Carlos. Like I say, it depends on the side of the bed I fear Antonio. He's a very big, strong striker. I don't know anything about the other guy you mentioned. I'm really sorry. I don't know about him. So yeah, I mean, it would be in your benefit. Unknown, maybe surprise Villa. They wouldn't know how to handle him possibly. Whereas Antonio, they've come up against quite often. Having said that, yeah, I still think good on the day.
Yeah. Paul, could I ask you to come out and then come back in, because we can't quite hear you? There's a bit of signal mishap, I think. Could I ask you to jump out and then jump back in? Is that all right?
Yeah, sure thing.
Cool. I'll kick you out. Cheers. Just couldn't quite hear what you were saying. Was that just me, or was that everybody? Was that?
It was a bit. Yeah, I did hear a bit of a static.
Yeah. Cool. Hopefully we will get him back. Antonio on the left wing. I want to see Cornet there. Antonio, 30 minutes to go. Super sub.
That's all he is now, I think, an impact sub. He's one of those players, a bit like what we did towards the latter stage with Andy Carroll, really. You get the big bruiser coming on the last 30 minutes. Defenders are tired. Get him coming on, Mr. Muscle Man. Get in the box, cause a few problems, rather than him running around, getting exhausted after 80 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Let's have another look at your comments. Do you think Gerrard will start with 3 up front? Let's ask Paul that. Overall, Paul, how do you think your Villa side will start up tomorrow?
Well, first of all, can you hear me better?
Yeah, that's better. Perfect.
Yeah, much better.
Excellent, cool. Well, I think he's got to play Ings and he's going to play Watkins. He's going to play Coutinho. I'd like to see Buendia start as well, actually. I think if he starts with McGinn in the middle, you got Matty Cash and Digne on the sort of wing backs, then that's a pretty decent attacking lineup. I think our problem is our holding midfield player. So Camara's come in and Gerrard seems to prefer him over Douglas Luiz, but I think Douglas Luiz should start every time. I think if Douglas Luiz starts tomorrow as a defensive midfielder, then I think you're going to find it tougher tomorrow.
Yeah, fair enough. Overall, Phil, I don't know what it is with these kind of strikers, but a name like Danny Ings worries me.
Yeah, look, he's an established Premier League striker. We've known about him for years now. He's a good finisher. So he is one of those names where you always sort of worry about. And he's one of the first people you look at when we're going to play against a team that he's in. So if we can mark him up pretty well, it'll be quiet. Yeah, famous last words.
And then Watkins. When we were up there last year, I was incredibly impressed with a player like Watkins because he just never stopped running. It was whether it was 2-1, 3-1, 4-1 down, he was pressing, and I went straight away. He's a David Moyes player, and if we could have got him out of Villa before we signed Scamacca, I would have had him every day of the week because he's a David Moyes hard worker, and I think he he didn't cause problems as such on that day. But how key of a player is Ollie Watkins to you, Paul?
Yeah, massive player. I still think he's still developing. I think he's still got a lot to learn. Sometimes he's a little bit selfish, and sometimes he can be quite frustrating. But I do think he's going to be one for the future for sure. And it wouldn't surprise me if he went to a supposed top 6 club.
Yeah. Sean says, who's going down with Bournemouth? Could be a big club. Just keep going, Sean. Just keep going. Keep going. Trev Tube, our defenders will need to be on it tomorrow. A bit concerned Zuma hasn't looked right. That dodgy knee. Yeah, David Moyes has got decisions to make tomorrow, Phil. Does he start Zuma? Because to be fair, he always looks injured when he's running. He just runs with with a limp anyway. But,
but big lump, isn't he?
He is. Who would you start alongside Kurt Zuma? Obviously, we don't know who's fit, but who would you start alongside him?
I reckon he'll start Kehrer, but do you know what? If Ogbona's fully fit, I'd start him, to be honest with you. If he's fit enough to be playing the Europa League games, he might be getting on a bit, and he's just come back from a long injury, but he's still one of our best defenders. So I'd start him. I think of all that experience he's got, and I feel so much more comfortable when he's in the defence. And when we had him alongside Zuma at the start of last season, it was amazing.
It was.
So get them two together.
Yeah, if he is sharp enough to be in there, I think he does start. In my opinion. But Paul, one key player for Villa tomorrow.
I'm going to stick with Douglas Luiz if he starts. I think that's definitely the key. Douglas Luiz.
Fair enough.
Good player.
Look out for him in the lineup, or maybe not tomorrow. Phil, key player for us. I mean, I think I know who you're going to say, but
if he starts, Himeka, key player. If we get the right balls to him, Cornet starting as well. Get those crosses in. It can be be good to see him get off the mark in the Premier League.
I do think it's going to be a high scoring match, and that's quite ironic considering we haven't scored any goals in 3 games. But I've got a vibe of like a kind of a 3-2 kind of game, because it's 2 defenses that aren't fantastic at the moment. It's 2 attacks that if they can fire will score a lot of goals. If we can start with a front 3 of Ben Rama, who's on form, Skamaka, Cornet, maybe Bowen out on the right as well. If we can get them firing, there's a lot of goals in our side. And we know the kind of stature of players that Aston Villa have got if they can get them firing. Watkins can score, Ings can score goals, Buendia, Coutinho. There's plenty of players that can score goals there. And I've got a feeling, even though we haven't scored a goal yet, that tomorrow might be a high scoring game at Villa Park. Peter says, just no Moyes will play at the same team as Brighton. It will be chaotic. I just hope not. One thing we haven't discussed, and very quickly, Phil, Areola has to start. Should he be starting the Premier League, or are you right now content and happy with Fabianski starting in goal?
It's a tricky one, really, because when we signed him permanently, I thought that was it. He was going to actually dislodge Fabianski, but so far he's sticking with his guns and keeping Fabianski as the league keeper and Areola playing in the cups. It's a hard one, but I reckon it'd have to take a couple of really, really bad games for Fabianski to have for Areola to come in, I reckon. But it's good to actually have 2 very good goalkeepers. But obviously we know Fab's at the end now. He's not going to be as great, even though goalies can play forever. But at some point this season, I actually said this to you last year, at some point in the season, Areola's going to come in and take first choice spot.
Yeah.
But whenever that happens,
I think it will happen, and we all want him to start, but we know realistically it's just not going to happen, because David Moyes has started with him, so he's going to persist with him until big mistakes are made, which is unfortunate. And the one question that I ask is, does Areola agree to this when he took a massive pay cut to come to West Ham to sit on the bench for half a season? I mean, I know goalkeepers go on into their late 30s and whatever, but he is 28, 29, so he might have 10 years left in him. But as well, I'm sure he wouldn't, if he was in his right mind, want to agree to sit on the bench for another season. But it's strange. It's strange because we all kind of thought that he would come in, but it just hasn't happened. Gary, hope you are well. Moyes must start Skamaka, Cornet and Ben Rama, the informed players, Areola in goal, Ogbonna and Emerson. Make no mistake, this will be a hard game. We need a positive result and we need to score some league goals. 100% agree with you. I'd like to see Emerson at left back. Let's see some freshness down that left hand side, because I am pretty fed up of Creswell, if I'm honest with you. £15 million we paid for him, so let's start Emerson. He's played football in the Premier League. We know we can do it. As long as he's fit enough, he has to start tomorrow. Trev Tube says, yeah, Ogbonna brings calmness. If fit, I'd 100% play him. I don't think Moyes will throw him in yet, though, into a Premier League game. I'm inclined to agree. Bailey, hope you are well. I'm saying 2-1 Villa, late goal. Hammerhead says Fab is to blame for at least 2/3 goals this season. Matt says 2-1 to the Hammers. I don't think Fabianski has done anything to deserve the boot, to be honest. Areola has to start. We'll get on to the rest of these predictions in just a second.
It's a bit of a mixed one, isn't it, with Areola and Fabianski, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Peter says, rumour on Twitter, the Geordies have offered 2.5 million for Ashby. Well, that's the rumour, yeah. We should not even be looking at that, to be honest with you. But anyway, let's move on to some predictions then. Paul, I'm going to start with you. Your prediction?
Okay, I think we're going to send you back down to the smoke. Unhappy. I'm going to go 2-0.
Who's going to score for the Villa then?
Oh, let's say we'll get Ings having 2, shall we?
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
Sounds about right, yeah.
That would upset you, wouldn't it? Come on, Villa.
Yeah. Phil, your prediction?
Right, let's get some positivity. It's going to happen. We're finally going to score. Finally going to win. It's going to be the same old 2-1.
Now there's a reason, and Phil, you know my tactics. There's a reason that I didn't go first tonight, was because I was convinced nobody was going to go for my prediction, because I'm going to be a bit out there. A lot of people say 0-0s, 1-1s, 2-1s. I'm not having that. 3-2 West Ham. We're scoring goals, so are Villa. Ings is going to score. I think Coutinho will score, and then for us, I think Skamaka will score if he starts Bowen. And I'm feeling a centre-back header from a corner. I'm not quite sure who, but I'm feeling a centre-back header from a corner. A 3-2 entertaining game up in Birmingham. Right, let's fire through your predictions then. So let's start right from the top. Matt, 2-1. Dab, 1-1. 2-1 Villa. 2-2. 0-0. 1-1. And both teams booed off. 3-1 Hammers. 5-1 Hammers for Peach. Love it, Lawrence. I'd happily nick a 1-0. We need points, either 1 or 3. 100%, I agree with you. Head says 3-3. Hart says 2-1. 0-0 ball draw. Both teams need a point about now. Players made a mistake, but we hardly making a scoring record ourselves. Let's have a look here. 2-0 West Ham. Good. What else have we got here? I want to go 2-1 us. I know West Ham haven't scored yet, Sean, but you've got to start somewhere, and tomorrow is the time. Let's bring on another guest, shall we? Here he comes, Mr. Anton Baker. Anton, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, Jakey boy, and all you lads. How you doing?
I'm very good, Anton.
All good.
Good. We're just at our prediction stage. What I'm going to do, sum up everything you want to say about the game and your prediction.
What? And is that it then? Am I done?
Nice little cameo, mate.
Yeah.
Anton at the back post.
Yeah, at the back post, I like that. I am excited and nervous, desperate for West Ham to get points, but hope that West Ham and Moyes don't have that bit of desperation in them. Believe in what they can do, turn up and do a job. The biggest concern I've got is if I see the same starting lineup, which I think is what probably most West Ham fans are concerned about. And if we do have the same starting lineup, my concern is that it's not that I don't believe in the players and the crop of players that we've got. I feel like the opposition, I'm probably repeating what you've said, understand what West Ham's all about, because we've been so similar for 2 or 3 years. And people now have got to understand what the formations are. And the thing you've got then is, if we do try and change it before, or if we put out the same team and then change it, people then understand what that's going to look like as well. So having players like Skamaka, Cornet, and all the other players in the wings only but offers you something different. And West Ham need to evolve. Nobody can say static in terms of formations and team selections. Every team has to evolve. Every Premier League team has to evolve, and West Ham have to be one of those teams as well. And I think maybe David Moyes is erred on the side of caution, but I think he's got to play. I mean, I don't know what else Scamacca can do. I know it's 2 goals and 2 appearances in the Europa Conference, but it's your striker scoring goals. And I honestly think he made such a difference when he came on against Brighton last week. I said it in the preview that I did earlier on today, a pre-recorded one. Like, what? If you watch certain things in the game with Antonio, his back was to goal. I love Antonio. I'm a big Antonio fan. But in the final third, Antonio's back was to goal, and there was always 2 defenders on him. But when you look at Scamacca, he was facing forward with his head over his shoulder, looking for the ball and trying to get in front of the defenders.
He's an actual striker, isn't he?
Yeah, and in actual fact, the defenders were starting to panic and starting to put 2 defenders on him. So, and I've just realised, sorry, beside me is an Aston Villa fan. So I would be, in terms of if Scamacca starts, in terms of an Aston Villa fan, I would be concerned, because I do think, I know we've not saw much yet, but we've not saw him play much in the Premier League. But I do think he's got the capabilities of stepping up to the plate. And we had Pedro Obiang on the channel, and he can't praise him enough. He's like, you've got Italy's number 9 in your team. And I know they've not qualified for the World Cup, but we have got Italy's number 9 in the world in our team. So
exactly.
And to add to that, my prediction, I'm going to go, because we've been quite lucky against you lot in Aston Villa as of late. We've been doing all right. That doesn't mean we're definitely guaranteed anything like that. And I know you guys are kind of struggling and all that sort of stuff. So, but I've got to remain positive, and I'm going to go for a 3-1 West Ham win.
Very good.
Good stuff. I went 3-2 goals galore, but just one thing, make sure you go and check out that interview. That
very good
with Pedro Obiang, very, very good. It was excellent. Of course, good words about Scamacca. Well, to be fair, it would have been a bit backhanded if he said, yeah, he's rubbish, isn't he? But yeah, make sure you go and check that out on the West Ham Network. But overall, Phil, where do you see the game being won or lost tomorrow? Do you think that the game might be won or lost an hour before when we get the lineup?
So it's really hard to say. I think, like you say, Jay, it can be end to end. So it's probably going to be in the final third, really, where it's going to be won or lost. If we can convert our chances, then it should be all right. Otherwise, if it's going to be like boring around the midfield, then that can be anyone's game. But I reckon if we're clinical in front of goal, we'll be fine.
Yeah, Paul, we are what's the word? Fragile, as it were, in midfield currently. If we do start Souček, I do think we are fragile in that area. I think it is a key area. Do you think the game might be won or lost perhaps in a midfield area? You mentioned how crucial Douglas Luiz is a little bit earlier on.
Yeah, well, I'm really excited for tomorrow. I can't wait. Yeah, midfield battles. I think it's going to be battles all over the pitch. There always is, isn't there, between Villa and West Ham? There's always a fiery encounter. Who knows? Honestly, I don't know. It depends what 11 turn up. Depends what side of the bed they get out of. It depends on, a lot of things. But yeah, I can't see you beating us, to be fair.
Fair enough. Fair enough. To be fair, I can see you beating us, though. That's the thing. But Anton, you've came prepared.
Yes, I have. I'm going to do a presentation for you guys right now.
Days, what is going on here? He comes and he brings the goods.
It's just to kind of reiterate what I just said there. If you have a look, you see Ben Ram on the ball out on the left, and you see Antonio. He is facing forward, but he has got a marker on him. But the difference between, if you move to the next one, Jake, the next slide.
I got to press buttons on my days.
You do. You've got to
here
press
we go. There we go. Yeah.
Right. You can see now that Antonio still is being marked, but this time he's got 2 defenders on him, and he's not broken the line as a striker. Now, this is my biggest concern, because he's not the natural born goal scorer. And by him doing that, it makes Bowen and Souček sit further back, and it's become so congested in that area that then Brighton literally have to defend one player because Benrahma's not going to get the ball to the back post because they've got two players. Look at the amount of spaces there is ahead. So if Benrahma chips it into the back post, Bowen and Souček have to have some great amount of pace to beat those two defenders. So that's my biggest issue. But if you skip on to the next one, this is Antonio again, back to goal in the final third. Look at who's that plays the ball through? Is that Declan Rice that plays it to Souček?
Is it Benrahma?
Benny or someone, I don't know.
Yeah,
Souček's got the ball. His back's to goal, but look at Antonio's back. Now, I don't mind Antonio's back to goal, but I would prefer that up in the halfway line. Yeah. So if his back's to goal, that's where you'd want him doing that. But he's done that a lot in the Brighton game. So if you skip to the next one.
Oh, here we go.
Skamaka's on the field now.
See, we've got a difference.
And look at Skamaka on the field. And look at all of our players when we're going on the forward attack. Bowen gets the ball. Skamaka looks like he's on the toes and he looks like he's about to make the dart and run. If you skip to the next one, this is the same form of play. Look where Skamaka is. He's taken the defender away. There's no congestion on the left-hand side. I think Bowen shoots at this occasion, but what Skamaka does is open up the space and gives him an option.
There we go.
And that is exactly why I think Skamaka needs to start tomorrow. This is most of simplest football. I think there's another side, is there?
That's not. Oh, it's
no,
gone.
It's not. There you go.
No,
that's fine. That's cool. So
wow, that's
my justification.
That's Anton's present. Oh, sugar! I've removed him. Oh, sugar. I thought I was removing the slideshow, but I removed him instead. I didn't mean to do that. I better message him. Right, whilst I do that, and we're going to come to final thoughts in just a second, please check out our channel sponsors, SRM Carver & Son, by clicking the link in the description down below. Please check out our channel sponsors here on West Ham Unofficial, SRM Carver & Son. SRM Carver & Son provide crushing, screening and aggregate recycling services across southern England. You can check out SRM Carver & Son and more information by clicking the link in the description down below. Once again, a fantastic and a huge thank you to SRM Carver & Son for sponsoring West Ham Unofficial, and come on your irons. I thought I was removing the slideshow, and I removed you as well. Oh, dear. Apologies.
Gone off.
Apologies. Oh, God, it's all going off in Phil's car as well. Yeah, inspired by Peach, that was. That certainly was. That certainly was. Apologies. Jake is not having that analysis by Hansel now. Very, very good. You've got all the slides. You've got the, it's just all there.
It's better than Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
It's like the Aldi's version.
Very, very interesting, Anton. Great stuff. Let's fire through.
But you know what? No, it's easy. It's easy to, because obviously it'd be lovely if we could put the actual footage up. But it's nice when you can actually get that side of things done, and you can see it. Then you can visually see it. And it's the same, I've done the same with Lucas Paqueta. Like when he comes into the club, what he potentially could offer. It's easy for us to talk about it. But when you can see what he could bring to the club, doesn't mean they're necessarily going to do that. But
yeah, exactly. They call AA batteries, but I call Anton the analyst. There we go. Good stuff. Good stuff. Nice work. Your job is done, Jay Shop. But let's go to some final thoughts then. Paul, I'll start with you. Final thoughts ahead of the game tomorrow.
Excitement. Yeah, excitement. Good game. Looking forward to it. That's my final thoughts.
Good stuff. Phil?
Yeah, it should be a good game. Hopefully we can finally get off the mark, get some goals in it, and hopefully 3 points. I think we should be on a bit of a confidence boost after getting through to the group stages of the Conference League as well. So, yeah, I think we'll be fine. And I think if we get the new players starting, I've got 100% confidence in us.
Yeah, I agree. Must-win game for sure. And I would like to ask Anton's goldfish for his final thoughts about the game.
They can't talk right now. They're otherwise stuck in a misty water.
Engaged.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Phil. But I am a little bit nervous. I'm excited. I just want to get points on the board. We desperately need points on the board. And I know it's not the kind of, decision end of the season. However, you don't really want to be going 4 games without winning a game or getting points on the board or scoring a goal. We need to score a goal as well. So yeah, just got to remain positive and have the faith and back the manager. I can't fathom how people can just turn after 3 games. Just don't get it. To me, doesn't make sense. So it's not just been 3 games. I get that it's been form over a little while, but yeah, remain positive and back the side.
Yeah,
Exactly. The official prediction is a bubble. Good stuff, Peter. There we go. That's our unofficial preview for Aston Villa versus West Ham United. A must-win game for both sides. I'd like to thank Paul, firstly, Aston Villa fan, for coming on, as well as Phil and Mr. Anton as well. You can find Anton over on the West Ham network. Check all that stuff out there. You can find Phil because he's attached to me. Well, not literally, but he's just
I'm
agent
just there.
Yeah, agent fees come over later, don't worry. But thank you very much for watching. Drop a like, subscribe. Thanks everybody in the chat as well. Cheers, guys, and bye-bye.